Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Behind me, look at that. Look at that. Rest in peace. D'Angelo. So we lost a great one yesterday. Pancreatic cancer at the age of 51. And I just wanted to honor his life and share with some and reacquaint some others and just all find a sense of sending angel love his way. So as you know, when I do these honors, I do like to share a little bit of my own understanding of the person and the talent, and then read most of because I don't want to error and get any of the facts incorrect. So, having said that, D'Angelo is so sexy. There he is. I know that his song "How Does It Feel?" He won a Grammy for that in 2000, and the video alone. Oh, the video alone is something you'll forever remember if you ever see it. So, and I've always loved that song. I've always loved Nothing Even Matters that he was featured on Lauryn Hill's album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. He also shared a son who's his junior, named after him, with singer Angie Stone, who lost her life in a car accident while she was on travel in February. So the two of them in the late 1990s, early 2000s were recording new artists coming together. They had a relationship, they had a son. They worked through some things together as far as his drug and alcohol use, but they were very unique in their sound. I would say that everyone would agree they were very unique in their sound. You knew their music, kind of in a way that like Sade, that D'Angelo reminds me to a degree of Sade. You don't always hear that voice, but when you do, you know who it is and you love it. It's rich, it's royal, it's worth the wait. By the way, he was in studio with Raphael Sadiq to release a new album. So hopefully there is some signature songs in the vault by which can be released so that we can have something else now from him. So having said that, let's take a look at his wonderful music life. By the way, he was categorized as neo soul, and he said in an interview, his last interview was with Tavis Smiley, and I'll drop that in the description box for your view. But probably it was his very last interview given because he doesn't give a lot of interviews, but he had shared that he didn't like to be in the category of neo soul. Now, I consider him neo soul in the same way that I consider India Ari. I consider him neo soul, but he didn't like that category. He liked just to be a soul artist, and he attributed some of his sound to like Curtis Mayfield and Prince and James Brown. And he said they're not neo soul, so I'm not soul, something like that. But I'll drop that in the description box. Let's see what his background shares with us, just in briefing. So as mentioned earlier, his song "How Does It Feel?" Brown Sugar and Lady was like the showcasing for his significance in his genre of music, and he did get a Grammy Award for "How Does It Feel?" And also, the video at the time it was MTV played quite a bit of it. So that was a very rich song. And then Brown Sugar, then Lady and Cruising from his Voodoo album. But let's take a look at his life. Let's take a look at his life. Now, my heart is still broken because I'm saddened by the fact that his son, with Angie Stone, has lost both parents within a 6 month period of time, and that has to be devastating. He has another son and a daughter with someone else who have different mothers. So that child, although that child has lost their father, his son with Angie Stone has lost his parent. And I'm sure the sting is very deep, so my prayers go out to him. So having said that, D'Angelo's formal name is Michael Eugene Archer, and he was widely regarded as just an R&B artist and neo soul, as I mentioned, by Rolling Stones magazine. He played several instruments, including the drums, piano, and guitar. So he was extremely, so that's genius level. I think it's genius level if you can play with great mastery, three instruments. And that, so he was genius level, I suppose. He gains his greatest attention when co-writing and co-producing in 1994 with You Will Know by Black Men United. And his debut album of Brown Sugar 1995 was certified platinum. So that's rich. Those are rich acclaims. He was also a person who while he loved soul, he was considered the type of singer like the Smokey Robinson over cruising, and he was a type of sound that was unique of his own. He enjoyed doing collaborations with his love partner, I'll say, Angie Stone, also with Erica Badu and Lauryn Hill. So he had a sense of the depth of soul working with those types of artists. I'd say those types of artists are definitely into their what I would call their soul regimen. Also, D'Angelo was known for contributing to the penmanship of many songs that he was blessed enough to either write or co-write with. Having said that, in his earlier years, he was a student, his father was a Pentecostal preacher, I should say, and he was a student of the Bible, and he grew up in a Pentecostal family. So he had, strong religious views. Now, I have to be careful not to say spiritual views because I understand that there is a significant difference between spirituality and religious, but he had a very strong religious background. He began to sing in the choir, and he was somewhat at that time teased about it. And he got encouragement from his grandmother, who said, "Keep on singing because you tend to love it." And he remembers her dearly by saying that she convinced him not to give up. And aren't we also grateful for that now because of the sound that he left behind that we'll always cherish? He was in a group, and they went to an amateur night, which resulted in three consecutive wins for this group. And um, that was another part of his cementing the fact that maybe music was something that he could do, having, not having anyone to leap into him that is a good career choice for him and that he was indeed talented to do it. I'll say that. D'Angelo also produced and rapped a bit. He was singing with Raphael Sadiq. As I said, they were doing a recent album at his passing. Um, Ali Shaheed Muhammad and, of course, Angie Stone. He also had the head of A&R named Gary Harris at EMI Music was also very impressed with his audition when he first came into music and made sure that he got planted around the people that could help bring out his sound. So he, worked with all of the ones that I mentioned, along with like Gerald Levert and Raphael Sadiq, and he found himself performing and really career taking off at the time. So he was definitely the person. Having said that, he went on to record several albums. He has a very lengthy um, musical career, but he was not one that was always out into what I would call the Hollywood scene. He would do his music and he'd go away for a while. Or he'd go back in the studio, and before he would actually go into performing and doing live concerts or going on tour, he would always kind of scale back for a while. In a minute there, he did have some struggles with drugs and alcohol, but he was certainly able to overcome those with the help of, not only Angie Stones, but others who worked closely with him, and he was able to elevate outside of that. So that's just phenomenal to learn that. Let's see here. What else is noteworthy for him? He began performing abroad, where he was also very well received, particularly in the European tour that he took in 2012. Um, in London, they just seemed to really love his sound. They found that his sound was very inviting, and he did a lot of concerts there. He also performed at Jay-Z's Made in America festival in that same year because he was just taking off so well, particularly, like I said, abroad. So Jay-Z actually had him on his Made in America tour. Having said that, we will certainly miss the artistry of him, but I do just want to give a tad bit about his sharing his own influences. In an interview that he had, he mentioned that Prince was a great influence for him, and that he considered him as one of those guys that he would not only listen to the music, but he would study Prince. He would study and read his album credits. He would learn from watching him on stage how to present on stage, and he was almost musing Prince. So he loved Prince, but since he played guitar, he also did a lot of study for Sly and the Family Stone, and of course Jimi Hendrix was a big um, inspiration to him. He found that he got better in music by being inspired directly by the sound that drew him the most. So he would mirror and muse those sounds. And boy, it turned out to our great benefit for him to have done that. In 2016, he released his third album called The Black Messiah. And it's a song that's Run the Jewels on Beyonce's, and then Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly was in 2015. And these were all noted in the Yale Herald. So there he was amongst great names. We will certainly be left with really good music from a person who has not only been nominated in many categories for his music, but has won Album of the Year in 2016, Song of the Year in 2016 for Really Love, Album for Black Messiah. He won in 2001 for Best Album Voodoo, and How Does It Feel, as I mentioned earlier. And I will drop those into the description box for your view. And I would say, I certainly hope he rests in peace, but I send my love in the depth of my heart to his son who lost both parents this year. If you've gotten this far, please click subscribe, and I love you. Good night. Look at that. Good night.